During the pandemic, the media seemed pretty caught up in identity politics and too caught up to look at the bigger picture. They barely talked about the group that suffered the most, children. And if you dared even bring it up, like my friend Bethany did, you were called a grandma killer. Some of you spend too much time online will remember that moment. But kids weren't dying of COVID, and we knew this very early into the pandemic. They were more likely to die from homicide, drowning, or house fires, actually. The Academy of Pediatrics confirmed that kids made up basically 0% of cases, even fewer deaths, around 160 total. 15 states had zero child deaths. Globally, kids were less than 2% of confirmed cases. When they did get it, symptoms were mild or nothing at all. They didn't spread it much either. They caught it from adults. So they rarely caught it, almost never died from it, and they weren't driving the spread. But during the lockdowns, their ER visits went through the roof, up 24% for younger kids and 31% for teens. They were rushing to the hospital for mental health issues. Study after study said the same thing. Kids had high rates of depression, anxiety, and stress. Lockdowns were bad for children, much worse than the disease itself. 3 in 4 kids showed signs of depression. They missed school. They were lonely. Younger kids got clingy. Older kids checked out. They were constantly stuck indoors, so they got restless or angry. Their routines were gone. Their parents were stressed. Screens completely took over. Sleep problems went up. Abuse risk went up. And the kids who were abused at home, their schools, the one safe place that they had was closed. They're going to carry the long term effects of the lockdowns for the rest of their lives. And they weren't really built to handle this kind of lockdown stuff. School closures hit 91% of kids worldwide. Around Across Bangladesh, Italy, Spain, England, Holland, China, India, the results were the same. More depression, anxiety, sleep issues, emotional trouble, even suicide. Meanwhile, in Sweden, where schools never closed, COVID barely spread among children. And we haven't even begun talking about the learning loss disaster. Here at home, the nation's report card showed the cost. Reading scores dropped in grades 4 and 8. Not a single state posted gains. A third of eighth graders couldn't read at a basic level. Math scores were flat except for higher performing kids. Lower performing kids fell even further behind. The gap between them is now about 100 points. And those gaps widen fastest in low income and minority districts. Another area that just drove me insane because this is who these lockdowns usually hurt the most. Absenteeism exploded, especially in schools that could least afford it. Federal money only helped districts that spent it on academics, tutoring, summer school. Everywhere else, the losses piled up. A Stanford economist projects students will see 6% lower lifetime earnings because of learning deficits. One report called the harm to kids collateral damage. It said we have a responsibility to protect them and fight for the services they lost, and that should have been obvious. Every bit of research has pointed to the same answer. Kids should have stayed in school. They needed movement. They should have been outside. They needed routine, meals, teachers who could spot trouble, friends, community. Lockdowns didn't save them. It hurt them badly. And if we're going to follow the science, we needed to follow all the science, the kind that showed keeping kids isolated is one of the most damaging decisions we've ever made.